So you're saying like your neighbors?
Yeah, they
And
were a
then-
big influence on me. They're a little bit older than me, but they were a big influence on me. So anyway, ninth grade, went to school, started playing soccer, but then also started experimenting with alcohol and, marijuana. And I remember, when I got into those things, they brought me a lot of joy and excitement. And I don't know, I liked them. I liked the way they made me feel.
And you say like what years were you in high school? 2000.
I graduated in 2008.
So about like 2005 or 2006 is like when you.
Yep, probably around there.
But back then, like it was super common for
yeah,
everybody.
it was normal.
To be smoking.
Everybody partied. Everybody smoked bud, and everybody drank. You know what I mean?
Which is kind of different from what I've heard today about high school. It's
Yeah.
like it's not as common.
Right. But
I
it was
think-
very common. I don't think there was any kids that didn't. Maybe one or two kids, and one of those kids ended up doing really good things, like, went to the NFL type dreams and followed his dreams. But everybody else, that's what they did. That's what we did on the weekends, and that's what was going on. But yeah, just a lot of partying and then getting in trouble, and of course soccer took the back burner, obviously, because I started partying, and that sort of wasn't my number one thing to do anymore. Partying was. That's what I looked forward to the weekends. I looked forward to drinking. I looked forward to smoking and just laughing and having a good time. And I was a soccer player, but at the same time I was some sort of hippie, if you know what I mean, and long hair and the board shorts to school and surfing before school and so that was just what we did in that era.
So you would like, it wasn't just, you weren't trying to escape anything. It was
No,
just, like,
at this
the
time
feeling
it was only for fun. I wasn't trying to escape any pain or suffering or anything like that. It was strictly fun-based activities. That was it.
You said you got in trouble. Were there ever times where the soccer, because you were good in high school, like you were known around the county and everything, like was there ever a time where the partying and the soccer life collided and like you couldn't go to a game, or like something happened? Like,
I mean, yeah, there was. I started slacking off in soccer. I would, indulge before games and go out there and not play good, but I wouldn't care, And then eventually, I ended up getting kicked out of school for smelling like, bud walking in there, and then they ended up searching me, and then I had prescription medicine on me. And so then I got kicked out of that high school, and so my mom, which at this time, it was all for fun. It was recreational drug use, prescriptions, whatever, painkillers. But so then I had to go to a different school, and then so I went to a different school, and it's Christian, supposed to be a Christian-based school, but it was that was where all the bad kids were sent to. So you would have probably a quarter of the kids there were actually good Christian kids, and then the other 75% were the kids that got kicked out of public schools. So it was, it wasn't great.
Yeah. So your behavior didn't change, obviously.
No, I think it got worse, a lot worse. It was a lot, now at that point, now I'm using a lot of benzos, which is Xanax, stuff like that, before school. Because at this time I still hated school so much, I didn't mention, but even when in my ninth grade year at the public school, I had such a hard time being in school that I convinced my mom to pick me up at 11:30 every day. So I only went to public school to take my 4 core classes, and then for the electives, my mom convinced the school that she could do them at the house, and so I got to get picked up early. So I was only at school for a couple hours a day. Yeah, so it was pretty sweet as far as me not having to sit in school all day. But anyway, that wasn't a good choice, because what I did with my spare time was indulge in other activities I shouldn't have been indulging in.
And so at that time you were starting to like dabble with marijuana and all that stuff, but you started like selling, like hustling.
There was a lot of times, because I had to make money, because I wasn't getting any money from the parents or anything like that. So, just basically I would, get some and sell some to be able to afford to be able to smoke. Just be able to smoke for free, basically. Wasn't making a whole lot of money doing anything like that. It was basically just, hey, I know where to get it. Give me the money, I'll hook you up. Not knowing what that would lead to later on, that lifestyle, and that in itself, that in itself is excitement. You get your endorphins up, your adrenaline pumping. It's an addiction in itself, the whole lifestyle of drug using, I would say.
Yeah, so, I mean, only go into detail you want to, but you said you did move on to heavier things. Why do you think that progressed in that way?
So, like I said, in high school, at this point I'm jumping around different schools and stuff, and now at this point I'm using opiates, painkillers, and then Xanax, marijuana, alcohol, and pretty much every weekend. But then during the week I'd also use these substances on a pretty regular basis. But I wasn't chemically dependent on everything. I didn't wake up thinking, I need to get something to make me feel better. It was more so, 2-3 days out the week, I'm gonna get through math class, I'm gonna take this painkiller and it's gonna make me feel good through math class. I'm gonna feel good through this school that I hate so much. And so that obviously ended up experimenting with pretty much everything that was out there. And at this time, we were, I would say, at the beginning of an opiate epidemic. And so at my school in my hometown, Oxycontin just became basically huge. It was everywhere. You could find that easier than you could find weed for a little bit. And so I would say I really didn't dive in too deep until I was out of high school. And then I went to college for a little bit, still playing soccer, playing college soccer, but still partying too much. And then just doing a lot of the other stuff. Cocaine goes with the drinking, goes with the partying on the weekends, with the college, and that sort of was just, never, still at that point I didn't think I had an addiction problem. This was just recreational, it's for fun. I'm in control of it for sure. And then then I went to college for a little bit, played soccer, got injured. And then basically I would say from that injury is when everything went to hell real quick. Moved back to my hometown. This is during the OxyContin epidemic. So then I get a job waiting tables, a very touristy place, and very fun, lights, music, very fun environment to work at. And I was, 18, 19 years old probably at this time, maybe even 20. Time, I don't know. But, so yeah, let me say. So then one day, I'm running into a dude lived in our neighborhood, I guess you could say, lived right next to us. And, I was looking for anything, hey, I need, I'm about to go to work, you got anything that's gonna make the day go by smoother? Not really looking for OxyContin specifically at this time. And he, I got something for you. And at this time, he was selling Oxy 80s, which were like the highest milligram which you could find at this time. So I remember he just shaved off a very small amount. I mean, nothing. And this time I thought I had a high tolerance. So I'm, whatever, you're not gonna give me more? No, that's all you need. So I did it, and I remember going to work, driving to work, and just feeling the best I've ever felt in my life. It was just like, I don't know, it was a feeling that I've never achieved again, I guess you could say. It was just like pure, sublime, pure euphoria, just felt great. Went to work, made twice as much money because I was much more talkative and friendly, and I was waiting tables, and it was just made me talk. It took all my anxieties, my insecurities away. It took everything, pain obviously, internal, whatever it was, it just took it away. And so that was the beginning of it. And so after doing that, that turned into, all right, I'm gonna do it 3 times this week, so I can make twice. And then in my head it was so I can make twice as much money. It's okay if I spend a little bit of money on it because I'm gonna make twice as much money at work, and it's all good. And so that turned into a couple times a week to basically every day during the week, going twice as hard on the weekends. And there wasn't a shortage of it. There was OxyContin everywhere. If that dude didn't have it, somebody else did. And at this time, I noticed a lot of my friends and people around are jumping on the same train I am. So it's like a ring of drug use of opiates, and so you could always find it within this ring of people. And so yeah, it was bad. Everybody got pretty strung out on this stuff, and I didn't really know I was strung out until one night. I was at the house. My mom was there, and I don't think my brothers and sisters I don't know where they were. They weren't home, but at this time my life has already turned from, working, enjoying life, to working to support my drug habit, to enjoy life. That was the only way I could enjoy life, is if I was high. So that one night I'm at the house and I'm laying down trying to go to sleep, and I didn't do anything that day. And I just felt this most uncomfortable feeling I've ever felt in my life, and it just felt like my bones were turning. It felt like spiders were crawling up and down my arms and legs, and just sweating, nauseous. It was really rough, and so still didn't even know what it was really until I laid in bed for an hour or two, just flipping around, just thinking I'm getting the flu, but no way this is the flu. It's got to be something crazy. Maybe I got cancer. I don't know. So then I went upstairs and talked to my mom, and basically broke down to her, because when you're coming off of this stuff or going through physical withdrawal, your emotions get all crazy, and so you're super emotional. So, some reason I'm talking to my mom, basically tell her, I don't know what's going on with me, but I've been doing Oxycontin every day for the last 60 days or so. And she basically says, oh, well, you're going through opiate withdrawal. You know what I mean? And I don't remember her talking to me about going to rehab or anything at this time. It was just, I pretty much laid beside her in agony, and she just said, you'll be all right, you'll get through it. And that's that.
How did she know, like, so confidently, you think?
I had an older sister that struggled with opiate addiction, not so much Oxycontin, but her thing was heroin from a young age. She got involved with hardcore drugs, and so I seen it firsthand, what it can do to people. I seen my parents cry over her many nights. We'd go searching for her. Remember childhood, literally all piling up in the van to go search for Autumn, because we, had heard she was in this area at this time, so we're gonna go find her. And at the time, though, I was young. I really didn't understand it too much, I really didn't understand what was going on.
Did you think about that older sister whenever you realized what you were in?
No, not really, because at that point, I did. Well, I would say I did, but not that much. You know what I mean? I was so wrapped up in my head. All I thought about was, where am I going to get the next, Oxy from, and how am I going to afford it, and that's what your day consists of, and it's just hell. And I say that it was hell, but there was maybe a year, 2 years where I knew I was physically dependent, but I still I just loved how it made me feel. And so I looked forward to it every day, and the excitement I got from doing it was just crazy. I mean, the feeling it gave you was crazy. It was just complete euphoria. And so I tried, and at this age, I think I'm a skater, surfer, punk, so I'm just, in my mind, I'm just gonna live like this. This is what I'm gonna do. This is how I am. I'm just gonna remain high 24/7. And that's what I did for a long time. And then it basically, it got to the point, and I knew I needed help here and there. I knew I eventually would need to go to rehab. I just couldn't go through the withdrawals on my own. Wasn't able to do that ever. And so, after talking to my mom and dad and getting help, I would go. This is at the beginning of my addiction still. I would go to a rehab, and I'd do 30 days. And then even then, I would really think I'd be done with it. Like, I would, in my mind, I'm never touching that stuff again. That was awful. Can't believe I went down this road. These are the roads that you hear about not to go down, and I'm going down it, and it's not good. But anyway, I'd leave these rehabs with confidence. I'm not going to use again. I'm not going to do it. I'm done. I'm ready to get my life back on course. Go back to school, do whatever. I'm good now. I got this behind me. I finally feel good. I finally wake up in the morning with my bones not crawling and feeling bad. I'm ready to do this. And I'd come home from rehab, and within just a couple days, every time I'd full blown relapse every time. And like I said, I thought I could do it on my own. You know what I mean? Once I kicked the physical withdrawal, I thought I had a strong enough will I could stay away from it, but clearly that wasn't the case. I'd get out of rehab 3 days later, jump right back on the bandwagon. And in my mind, it was always, I'm gonna do it one more time, and I'll be good. It wasn't, let me go get back on this tangent again and destroy everything. You know what I mean? This crazy show. Let me just do it one more time. That's it. And I'd go do it one more time, and the next morning I'd wake up. Damn, that felt good. Let me do it today. Next day, damn, that felt good. I'm gonna do it again, and then I'm right back on the trail. And so then, trying to remember the events that came in a row, it's hard.
Well, and this is still your early 20s when you started your rehab tours?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Early 20s.
Do you think after like so many failed attempts, it made it harder? Like, was there more embarrassment?
It was. It definitely.
After each one, or?
Yeah, it definitely was embarrassing. It was definitely hard to, come back to my mom and dad and basically explain to them that I've messed up again. I need to go to rehab. But at this time, I'm living out on my own, living at different places and stuff on early addiction. So I was able to still pay my rent and stuff. So they didn't have to see it. They didn't see it every day. So it would only be, whenever I'd start doing bad again or whatever.
How do you think they did, now looking back on it, as parents with a child who is dealing with addiction issues? Like, do you think they had too much tough love? Do you think they should have been tougher? Do you think, like,
I think I was the master manipulator at this time, because most addicts are. And so I would just manipulate them to think I'm doing good, I'm doing great. My dad would help me with the car. He would let me come work at his business that he owned, so I'd make money there. And so they didn't really know what was going on too much. They knew that I struggled with, opiates at this time, but I was able to manipulate them so well that I would act like everything was good and fine. And this happened for a long time, just going through this thing of, I'm doing okay, I'm doing good, no I'm not, I need to go back to rehab. Go to rehab, and just, it's a cycle, and just do it over and over and over. And then eventually, obviously, the government's cracking down on Oxycontin, and so you're not starting to see it as much. And then what you're starting to see is just this crazy amount of heroin that was moving around. And so, and of course, I used to think in rehabs all the time, when other people would go in a circle and you say, what your thing was, people would say, oh, I'm addicted to heroin, I'm addicted to crack, and I would always think that I was better than them because I was on pain pills. I wasn't quite an addict like you're an addict, you know what I mean? I'm just addicted to pain pills, had this thing about classier, exactly. But truly, I was not any different than any of them in there. So eventually I moved on to heroin, and then also moved on to instead of snorting it, I started intravenously using it. And then that's when things really got bad really fast, once I started that.